Good day, dear students. So let me start. National University of Uzbekistan named after Mavzу Uzbek. Foreign Philology Faculty, English Philology Department. Topic Second Conditional by Pulatova S. Today's our topic is related to second conditional. If I had the money, I would buy a new car. It means I can afford to buy a new car. So let me first introduce the topic. It's important to know when and how to use the second conditional. It refers to a hypothetical situation of future events that are not likely to happen. We use the second conditional to talk about first, imaginary and unreal situations in the present. Second, situations in the future which are possible but unlikely to happen. The person can imagine itself to be somewhere, to have something, but in real situation that person cannot afford it. Next one, the formation. The formation of second condition. Let's look at the formula. If plus past simple or past tense plus would, could, might plus infinitive. Below I've provided some examples. If he were a bird, he would fly across the harbor. Actually, that person is not a bird. That person just that person is just imagining to be a bird and fly across the harbor. Next one is, if I had $200,000 now, I would buy a car. That person currently doesn't have $200,000 to buy a car. That person is just imagining to have $200,000 to buy a new car. That person wants to afford something more expensive. Next, use. We use second condition to speak about present and future situations which are unlikely to happen. If I had any money, I would lend it to you. If I were you, I would not do this. Remember guys, were is often used instead of was in the first and third person singular forms. The next one is type 2, unreal present. They are used to express imaginary situations which are contrary to facts in the present, therefore are unlikely to happen in the present or future. The next one is, they are also used to give some advices. So let's look at the picture. If I were you, this means you imagine yourself in the position or situation of the other person. It's used to give advice. If I were you, I would do something. If I were you, I would study more. If I were you, I would not do that. Next sentences are a little bit different, but the meaning is the same. I would go to the doctor if I were you. We also can change it. If I were you, I would go to the doctor. The meaning remains the same. I would not go there if I were you. Why if I were and not if I was? Because this is a subjunctive mood, which is used for hypothetical situations. It's a condition which is contrary to fact. The fact is, I'm not you. With to be, use were for all subjects in a subjunctive. I would be careful if I were you, or we can change the form. If I were you, I would be more careful. There's no difference. Let's look at the examples, some more examples. If she knew the answer, she would tell us. Actually, she doesn't know the exact answer. If I were you, I would go home. If Martin could come, he would be here. If they had more time, they would stay longer. Now they cannot afford to stay longer. If Sue and Jane lived in a big city, they would like it better. Let's look at the columns. She, I, Martin, they, Sue and Jane are all subjects. Knew, were, could come, had lived, they are in the past tenses. And the next one is she, I, he, they, and they are all subjects. Tell, go, be, say, like. They are just basic verbs. Verb 1. Let's move the next one. Let's continue. She would tell us if she knew the answer. There's no difference. We can change it. For example, if she knew the answer, she would tell us. And the next one is I would go home if I were you. Let's change it. If I were you, I would go home. As you can see, there is no any difference. Sue and Jane would like it better if they live it in a big city. Or if they live it in a big city, Sue and Jane would like it better. So let's look at the picture. If it opened its eyes, it would see that I'm not its mother. By saying this, it means if it opened its eyes, he says, its eyes are closed. He is imagining the situation after the animal opened its eyes. The next picture, if I had a car, I would not hitchhike. By saying this, that person, that or he means if I had a car, he says. He doesn't have a car. He's imagining that situation to have a car. Next, if I were older, I would not have to go to school. By saying this, the panda means if I were older, he says. He's not old enough. He's just imagining that situation to get older. Next one is grammar discussion of second conditional. Let's discuss the questions below. First, what would you do if you could travel back in time? If I could travel in time, I would something. Next, what would you do if you saw a ghost? I would get scared if something. And then last one, what would you do if it rained every day? I would do something if it get rained. I guess everything is clear. So conclusion. I've enlightened about the usage of second conditional, and we have divided them into two types, which are imaginary and when they are unreal situations, and situations in the future which can be possible. However, there is no possibility that will happen. Next one is the formation of second conditional. I've enlightened about the formula, the usage of second conditional. If plus past tense plus would, could, might plus infinitive. At the end, I've provided some useful examples and questions. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Goodbye.